Thank you, Kenny.
Workman's comp is tonight's topic. One of the things that your firm has got a lot of experience with, honestly.
Yeah, Kenny, it really is. Workers' comp, it's a personal business. I tell you, if you're the breadwinner of the house, whether you be the man or the woman, when your livelihood is at stake, when you get hurt on the job, and you really kind of become adverse sometimes to your company, and your livelihood is at stake, it's a very difficult time for anybody. And so, sure, we love helping people that need help, and if you have a workers' comp case, you need help. You're put in a system where you don't know all the rules. All of a sudden, there are people coming at you, nurse case managers, the insurance company. They really begin to dictate. Your employer actually takes a back seat. The nurse case managers, the insurance company moves in, and it's a tough process for everybody. So we're glad to help whenever we can.
And it can be just as simple. We know there's always high-risk jobs, but you can get hurt just at a regular office job. You climb on the office ladder or something like that. I mean, there's any number of different ways.
We represent, receptionists all the way to longshoremen, to people offshore, to truck drivers. You can imagine anybody can get hurt on the job at any time.
Now, the key about hurt on the job, workman's comp, does somebody that you know, were you hurt on the job? Something to the effect of maybe it was Longshore, Jones Act, maybe you were just driving your car, something happened to that effect. It is all on the table for us tonight with you. It's Matthew Mestayer. Matthew, hard to believe, my friend, almost 10 years of LawCall with the start of tonight's show. Almost. We're right there.
Kenny, and when it seems like it's flown by, and then it seems like it hasn't flown by.
At times it does. Very close to 400 shows tonight. A new person.
A special treat for sure. Not just starting the new show, but we have a new lawyer that's joined our firm, Caroline Hummel. She's just started at Reeves & Mestayer. So happy to have her. She's a workers' comp, longshore specialist, and other things, but a great lawyer, and glad to have her on the show and the firm.
Caroline, welcome to the show.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it. And she was on time tonight, so that's a plus right there automatically. We were talking before the show. You've been out of law school now over 4 years, and you've kind of gravitated into workman's comp. What kind of drove you in that area? What do you see in the field right now?
I have. I've practiced workers' comp almost exclusively within the last 4 years, a very heavy caseload. From intake all the way through litigation and trying the cases, I've handled it all.
And is it one of these things where, do people feel, I don't know, to me, if I got hurt at my job, I take my job seriously, and everybody does, you feel loyal. Do people, is it an emotional thing a lot of times?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When you're hurt at work, it affects every aspect of your life, not just monetarily, but also your relationship with those you love trying to support those people. So.
Very good. That is our topic tonight. We would love to get your thoughts. If you're just joining us, we were talking workman's comp tonight, and we're now getting to our phone lines. As promised, we're getting to Biloxi first. We're going to go to Bradley. Bradley, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Bradley.
With?
How are you doing tonight?
Good, sir. Thank you.
It's either December 31st, I fell on a piece of ice at work and hurt my hip, and went to urgent care and all this good stuff. And the practitioner put me out the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of February, and I did not receive any compensation for them days out, because the company who they go through says Mississippi does not compensate unless it's 14 days or more.
Okay.
So, which caused me to lose like 15 hours of work, and it set me back.
Bradley, it sounds like this is really kind of hurt the pocketbook, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear it, brother. Let's turn it over to Matthew, and we'll turn it over to the rest of our panel and get you some information here.
That's a very interesting question. Yeah, Brad, that happens all the time. First of all, you definitely have a workers' comp case for sure, but in Mississippi, there's a requirement. A company has to be big enough, a certain size, or it's not required to have workers' comp. So one, I'm glad it sounds like your company does have workers' comp. That's good. I hope they're providing medical. You didn't mention that, but at least they did brought you to the doctor. I'm assuming they're taking care of that. Another little interesting fact, though, is some companies are really reluctant to file claims because, that goes on their they would rather not put claims on their insurance because the more claims you have as a company, the higher your insurance premiums for the next year happen. So we've seen that a lot too, Kenny. And in a workers' comp case, that they'll take you to the doctor, they'll pay out of pocket as opposed to putting the claim as they should on their insurance. But yeah, you're right. There is a period of time you have to be out for a certain number of days before the benefits kick up, and then they pay back pay, but then it goes forward. So it looks like you're getting decent information, but I still want to talk to a lawyer and double check those facts, but I hope you're doing better with your injury.
Caroline, your thoughts?
As to the 14 days that he mentioned, under Mississippi statutes, you actually have to miss 5 or more days to be entitled to payment for your time off work.
Okay.
He said he has missed from the 2nd to the 5th, so that's only about 3 days. However, the 5 days do not have to be consecutive. So if he's taken off work for about 2 more days, he would be entitled to payment for that time off work. I would imagine that the 14 days comes in because most insurance companies, even if you are not off for that total amount of 14 days, will only cut a check every 2 weeks.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's a very practical answer there. Matt, is this something? Does Bradley need to kind of keep his eyes on everything? Is it time to call an attorney yet, or hold on?
Well, first of all, probably a good idea. One is, most calls to our firm and a lot of firms that do this kind of work is free.
Yeah.
So always nice, and it's a good time to start a relationship. People come in all the time with one-off questions, a little, 2-off questions. We're happy to meet with them. So yeah, he's on top of it. That's the best thing, right? I mean, it's very sad when we get calls. People that have had injuries years ago didn't do anything, and time has passed. So I'm very happy that he's on top of it. So yeah, I think I'd be happy to talk to Bradley, or anyone else would be happy, just to advise him, just to make sure things go the right way. Hope the injury doesn't develop. Hope he gets back to work soon. But if it doesn't, this could be a serious case.
Okay. Bradley, hope that helps for you. Be sure to give us a call back a little later in the season. We'll have an Ask Us Anything show here in February. We'd love to hear back from you, see how you're doing with it. Best of luck going. What can we help you with tonight?
Yes. My son, he got hurt on the job.
Yes, ma'am.
And the company he works for doesn't have workers' comp. Now he has a ton of medical bills, so I was wondering if he can file a claim against the homeowner or the company itself.
Miss Betty, was there a roof involved? Was he doing some shingle work? I got that in my notes for this one?
Yeah, he was putting up. He was installing gutters.
Oh, installing gutters, and it was for his work.
Yeah, and he fell about 30 feet.
Ooh, that's a serious fall.
That is.
Yeah, he broke his back.
He's lucky to be alive at that kind of fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Betty, he fell. He was installing gutters for his work. Fell on his back and fell 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, let's turn it over to the panelists here. Matt?
Yeah, I'll take the first part of that. Yeah, Betty, I'm sorry about that. That's a tough situation.
It sure is.
Listen, a couple things. One, when a company is, required to have workers' comp and they don't, quite frankly, they're violating the law. The law, there's a little punishment that goes along with it. The law takes away some of their defenses. So I guess it's your husband. He would have the opportunity to sue them, not in workers' comp, but in regular tort law, which could be more beneficial to him financially. The laws of workers' comp are very restrictive as to what you can recover. Not so in the tort world. And so if you're supposed to have workers' comp and you don't have it, the law says, well, then we're going to let your employees sue you and good luck to you. Right. So that's one option. Number two, he can look to, I didn't hear all the question, but if there is a contractor situation, he could look up the line, it's called, to the contractor who's doing the job. Sometimes the homeowner, so there is a lot of options, but that's a complicated case, Kenny.
Call your attorney.
That's a case that gets litigated constantly. Okay. That happens a lot. Quite frankly, you can imagine, you can't, as a contractor, you can't hire financially irresponsible subs to do work. They get hurt, and then you're like, oh, no comp coverage for you. We're out. So there's a lot of, and so the law says sometimes even if you're not working for, even if you're not getting paid by the contractor, the law can kind of impute that you work for the contractor and their comp coverage covers. It's complicated. Short enough to say it's a complicated question.
Caroline, get an attorney on this one?
I would tend to agree. We really need a lot more facts to really understand what's the best option here. First of all, you want to know how many employees did this employer have to make sure that they even were required to have comp coverage under the law. Suing them in tort may be the best option. Also look to the statutory employer. As Matthew was mentioning, you can go up the chain of command, so to speak, from a subcontractor to a contractor if they have coverage. Now, if Miss
Betty called you on Monday, she would basically tell you that story, right? I mean, you just would talk to her to start off with, right?
Oh, absolutely. We would get a few more details about the situation, know how severe his injury is, and if he needs further treatment. Right. And we would be happy to advise.
It just starts with a phone call.
It does.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Why don't we, real quick? We had a question come in from Mike from Pastor Christian. Didn't want to be on air. Was curious about the statute of limitations when it comes to workman's comp?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and like, it can be a little complicated. There's a 2-year and a 1-year statute, Kenny. How complicated is that for you?
Right.
So short answer is it's usually 2 years from the date of injury, but there's also a provision about 1 year from a B31, which is, it's a complicated question. So as we say all the time, you know, you're not rewarded for sitting on your rights in the law. Right. So if you have a question, go see a lawyer. But there's also some saving statutes. There's some things you can do. So don't try to figure it out yourself. It's really hard. Please call somebody. If you have a question like that, Monday morning, a lot of good workers' comp lawyers. Caroline will be at the office Monday, ready to go. She's fabulous on workers' comp, as you can tell, and Longshore. Give her a call. She'll walk you right through it. But there's a 2-year and a 1-year kind of statute working kind of that way.
And Caroline, that's it, right? You got to protect your rights. You got to call. You got to make it happen, don't you?
Absolutely, and you have to allow time for the attorneys to review your paperwork, review your medical records, file your claim. That takes us a little bit of time, so you want us to get involved sooner rather than later.
Right.
So that we're not knocking on the door of that statute of limitations.
Right.
And it is, and like Matt says, it is a complicated time frame on that one.
It is absolutely complicated. It has to do with whether or not your claim was admitted by your insurance company and whether or not you received benefits while you're off of work.
Start to the season here. Next week, Jim Reeves will be in, the old blue-eyed devil himself. He's going to be talking about major car accidents, minor car accidents, anything.
Just car accidents.
Yeah, car accidents,
car accidents.
auto accidents, 18-wheelers, anything to that effect. If you were involved with one of those, family, friend, be the perfect show for you next week. And then, of course, we got Matthew in a couple weeks here with Ask Us Anything. And my friends, that wraps us up for this week.
Yes,
Caroline,
indeed.
thank you so much. Did
Thank
a
you so
great
much for
job.
having
Hey,
me.
we're looking forward to having you back here.
Thank
I'm going to say
you.
book her again in a couple weeks here, Matt.
Don't
There we
worry.
go.
Book it, yes.
Don't worry.
Don't worry about
Don't
that.
worry.
So,
You'll be seeing
all right, my
Caroline
friends.
again.
Well, until next Saturday night here on LawCall, we'll tell you good night.